Welcome to a episode of NASCAR Power Rankings. I'm your host, JP84, and here I am going to go through the 10 people who I have on my Power Rankings list, as well as some awards to give out. So the first of two awards I'm going to be giving out this week being the Sleeper of the Week award. This one just going out to the driver that no one had anticipated to do as well as he did. The honorable mention I'm going to give out for this award is going to be Riley Herbst. Herbst finished 8th in the Daytona 500, and just no one saw him do as well as he did. He probably would have finished better if this didn't happen. But Herbst just did an outstanding job. The way he finished, and just a great result for 2311 and Riley Herbst. But the Sleeper of the Week award I'm going to be giving out for this week is going to Zane Smith. He finished 6th in the Daytona 500. He ended up winning stage 1, was a constant presence up front, and just a great effort from Zane Smith. And it'll be very interesting to see what he will do at EchoPark or Atlanta next week. And we'll see what Zane Smith can do. Now, my second award is going to be the Most Cursed award. This is going to the driver who was just filled with bad luck throughout the entire race, and nothing was really going his way the entire night. For that, I'm going to give it to William Byron. William Byron was pretty much involved in every conceivable accident that happened during the 500. He got bumped into the wall by SVG, and he got hit on the right side a bunch of times throughout this race, and ultimately he got involved in that big accident that happened during stage 2. So it just was not meant to be for Byron to three-peat this year, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do at EchoPark or Atlanta next week. So starting at number 10, I am going to be giving that to Zane Smith. Just a great race from him, and honestly a really good weekend for him. He finished 6th, as I said previously, at the 500, and won stage 1, was constantly up the front pretty much the entire race, and just a great effort from him and Front Row Motorsports to get that 38 car all the way up to 6th place. Just a great effort from Zane Smith, really. And we'll see what happens for our next week when he goes to EchoPark. In 9th, I have William Byron. He did do really well to start off the week. He started pretty solid, doing what he needed to do to qualify for the 500 at a pretty decent position. But then as soon as the race started, it just went downhill for him. Obviously involved with a bunch of wrecks. He ended up getting hit on the right side several times, especially when he got hit by SVG, hit into the wall on the right front. And then he got wrecked in stage 2 in that big one that transpired, and it just was not meant to be for him to get 3 Daytona 500s in a row, which still would have been an amazing feat for him and for NASCAR as a whole, but it just was not meant to be for William Byron, and that's why he's this low on my power rankings. At number 8, I have Brad Keselowski. Just his team, I feel, was trying to strategize to get the win. They weren't really worried about getting the max amount of points. They were more strategizing, let's get the 500 as a win. Let's come out of Daytona with that win. Unfortunately, that did not work out. He was up the front the whole race, it seemed like, except for when he was finishing the stages, because he was doing the pit stops before the stage ended, and they were just strategizing to try to get the win. I honestly feel that Keselowski deserved to win this race. Just they were strategizing for the win. They were not trying to come out with the most points, and I can easily respect that. That's honestly the strategy I would take if it was for a Daytona 500 victory. And just an amazing comeback for Brad Keselowski, because he was cleared for this week after dealing with a skiing accident in which he broke his leg and apparently was still in a cane for this weekend. And apparently he very well could be in that cane for a couple, even several more weeks after Daytona. So what he was able to do at the 500 gives me a lot of hope that he can carry this momentum into next week at EchoPark and even at the 1.5 miles and short tracks later this year. At number 7, I have Kyle Larson. Just did not go as planned for him. His struggles on super speedways continue. And just, I have to feel bad for Kyle Larson because he has just not been good at super speedways what seems like his entire career. Over the years, it seems like he's gotten better at it, but his weakness is those super speedways. And honestly, it did seem like he was getting the hang of it because I do believe later in the race, I think it was stage 2, he was leading for some of it, like a couple laps, maybe even just 1 or 2. But he was up the front for part of the race. Was getting the hang of it, and then obviously that stage 2 big one that happened basically took away his chances, and it was just a bad result, and he barely finished inside the top 20. So it's sad to see Kyle Larson's struggles at super speedways continue, and hopefully he can push this result aside and look forward to trying to win at Atlanta or EchoPark. At number 6, I have Ryan Blaney. Just a pretty quiet and forgettable day for him, to be honest. He did end up getting wrecked at during that final lap chaos, and he ended up finishing 27th. Just a forgettable day for him. I do have a lot of optimism for him, though, going into Atlanta, where he has been very good in the next gen at Atlanta. So I do think he will be a big threat at Atlanta or EchoPark this upcoming Sunday, and will be interesting to see where he ends up. At number 5, I have Joey Logano. What Joey Logano was doing this entire race, he was basically doing a similar mindset to that of Keselowski, where they were strategizing for the win, not really getting the most points. And it almost worked similar to Keselowski. I mean, both Keselowski and Logano were pretty much in the same area of the pack, pretty much the entire race. I mean, both of them were strategizing for the win, and Keselowski, similar to Keselowski, Logano was almost there. He was close to Tyler Reddick before they crossed the line, and obviously he was involved in that accident caused by Riley Herbst toward the end, and honestly I don't think he would have won, but it was still a solid result for him. So I mean, for this result, I do think Logano is going to be one of the favorites to win at EchoPark this weekend, and we'll see what Logano can do later in this week on Sunday. At number 4, I have Denny Hamlin. Denny was pretty much good. He was good the entire race. I mean, he was leading laps, doing everything that he could. Unfortunately, he was involved in that accident that happened where he was trying to go on the outside of Justin Allgaier. Obviously, Allgaier closed the door way too late, and that's what caused that big one at stage 2. And Hamlin, I think, had he been able to keep going, he definitely would have been up there toward the front. But just not the result that Denny Hamlin wanted to take out of this weekend. And I honestly would think he would be one of the favorites to be one of the contenders at EchoPark this week. At number 3, I have Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace led the most laps of the Daytona 500. And it just was not meant to be. I mean, he was there the entire time, a constant threat. I mean, he was one of those people who were 3 wide and with those Toyotas just holding everyone back, trying to save fuel to the very end. But ultimately, that final pit cycle screwed him and a bunch of his teammates, and that's what cost him the win. And I can probably say in confidence that he will be up the front at EchoPark next Sunday. I truly believe that because of what he was able to do at Daytona last week. I truly think he'll be a threat, like Logano, like Blaney, like Hamlin at Atlanta or EchoPark. I truly think that Wallace will be up the front at EchoPark this Sunday. At number 2, I have Chase Elliott. I saw him winning that final push that from Riley Herbst to push Tyler Reddick ahead just was too much for Chase Elliott. He wanted to get that push from Keselowski to try to get up the front, but Riley Herbst cut inside of Brad Keselowski and ultimately wrecked both himself, Keselowski, and pretty much everyone else behind him and in front of him, Chase Elliott being the main one. So just heartbreak for Chase Elliott. I mean, who knows what the fan base at Daytona would have been like had Chase Elliott won that race. I can tell you right now, it would have been like Dale Earnhardt Jr. winning the Daytona 500 or more. But yeah, just a heartbreaking result for Chase Elliott, and he honestly could be another one of those favorites to be a threat at Atlanta this upcoming Sunday. And at number 1, I have Tyler Reddick. You probably would have guessed it by now. 58 total points on the day. Just a great performance all around for Tyler Reddick. I mean, he was quietly up the front the whole race. Very rarely did you see him in the mid-pack or the back of the pack. But just a great result for him, winning for Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, the whole 23XI organization. Just a great win all around. I mean, you saw that with Bubba Wallace as well. I mean, he was leading laps. Tyler Reddick ended up ultimately winning the race. Just a great performance all around. And I mean, Corey Heim and Riley Herbst, all 4 23XI cars were at the front at some point during this race. So it was just a great team result for 23XI as a whole, and ultimately Tyler Reddick ended up winning that race, which is why he is my number 1. Now, before you click off this video, I do want you to remind this. You may remember from those who watched both of my shorts on my prediction for those who would win both the Clash and the Daytona 500, here they are. One who I think will win the Cookout Clash this year will be Denny Hamlin. I think he will be the one who comes out victorious today at the Cookout Clash. I think the person who wins this Daytona 500 will be Brad Keselowski. I think that Brad Keselowski will finally get his name onto the Daytona 500 trophy and etch his name in history as a Daytona 500 champion. Both of them ended up finishing 5th in both of those races. So I have created my very own 5-wheel. It is going to basically curse that driver to finish 5th in next week's race. So let's give it a spin. Let's see what it's going to be. It's spinning. Ooh. Number 5. So that means it is... who did I put at 5? Give me a second. After looking at the footage, it is revealed that Joey Logano has been cursed and will be finishing 5th at EchoPark this Sunday. Don't quote me on that. It might not happen. Don't gamble on that. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Power Rankings. I will be doing this the whole season. And make sure you drop the like and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let's see if Joey Logano actually ends up finishing 5th.